Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Uncropped. Today, again, we are reflecting on River's Edge, and we got, for the first time, one of our actors in here. So we have Cora, so she played Hadley, and she did an amazing job. So I'm so excited to have her, but I just want to hand it off to you to introduce yourself, Cora.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Michael. Hello, my name is Cora Maple Lindell. I had the privilege of getting to come and work on set with these lovely people. It was a great time. So much fun. I've live out here in Los Angeles, but it was great to come back to Maine and get to spend some time there. So, it's a place.
Awesome. And so we also have Piper back for this episode because Cora, and I know each other from.
Good old high school. It's been a while. We've known each other for a long time. But yeah, it's me again. Michael begged me to be back, and I just couldn't say no.
We can't exclude you because you and I both have the entire film in our brains, so
Yes.
we can't keep you out.
Okay.
But yeah. So talking about high school, Cora, do you want how did we meet you? I know we met in school, but that's all we really know.
I think it was Yeah, I think it must have been theater because like I would always do the plays and the musicals, and I feel like you would always run lights or sound or something. Like it was definitely that was the connection for sure. Um, that and it was a school of 400 people, so
Yeah.
not super hard to know people. And you worked at and you worked at French Braun, so like
And then you and Piper were in the same grade, I think, right?
We were, yeah.
yes, yeah, we were in the same grade.
There you go. It all worked out.
So fun.
But how did you get involved with this project?
Well, if I remember correctly, I just saw a call for it on, I want to say it was Backstage. I think it was Backstage. I think so. And, decided to apply because I was like, oh my gosh, I know these people. Um, and, the rest is history. It was just a good fit. And I liked what the project was, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, fresh new take on a coming of age story. There's a ton of those, and it wasn't so monotonous.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Piper, but I think we had a call as soon as we saw that she sent something in. We were like we had a call. I don't remember what our initial thoughts were immediately. Like I do you remember when she first sent something in and we saw her name? I think you said something like,
yeah, we were like, I want to say we were like looking through all the people who had sent in audition tapes already. And we were kind of like, yeah. Like, I don't know if that's exactly like what we envisioned this looking like. And then Cora's came through, and obviously we were like, oh my God, it's Cora. But then also we were like, you know what? I think that's it. I think that's kind of the thought process we had there, where it was like everybody else was like kind of a fit, but then it was like Cora's audition tape was like it.
and we knew you as a person, which I think off the bat we knew it would be easier to work with you because we at least somewhat knew you versus meeting a whole new person and having a whole new cast and crew that basically nobody knows.
Yep, yep.
So and we knew that you are a great person, so it's like, okay, I think Cora would be perfect for this, as well as we, like you said, we saw you in the plays and such at school, so we were like, she knows what she's doing. So
Well, that's great. It's much better than them being like, oh God, not this asshole. No.
I can guarantee we never thought that. I promise that.
No, never. No.
But
Well, you never know. High school is a fickle time. Teenagers are horrible.
Oh, God.
You never know how you're perceived until after the fact.
I know how I was perceived, and I don't look back on it very well. So, but yeah, so that's how we got like involved, the three of us, on this project, because I think you were the first one officially cast, right? I think she was, right? I think so.
Really? I don't know. I know that there were, because it was just like, it felt like a really long process also. So like, I really don't remember in what order we casted people. And I know a lot of our focus was like on like who would play Riley, and that took up a lot of time. So I don't really remember what order
I think we decided that we wanted Cora and Isaiah at the same exact time. Like after that first test call, I think we stayed on. Like you and I like FaceTimed each other afterwards, and we were like, "That's it."
Yeah. I remember a few different times where we would pull up all the people that auditioned and just like look at their pictures side by side, and we were like, okay, could these people believably play siblings?
That sentence started out sounding very creepy, I know, but it's very important. Trust me.
Gotta do what you gotta do when you're casting people who are gonna play twins.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, also, Cora, you and Isaiah, like, I don't remember if you said how much you and Isaiah talked after you guys were like officially cast and before filming, but when you guys like first like were on set, you guys had like that sibling connection like instantly, and I was like, how do they do this?
Yeah, no, he and I had really only had like a few text exchanges. We had like talked about like maybe doing like a Zoom or a phone call to like read through some of the scenes, just so that we weren't like doing a cold read like on the day essentially. And we never did that, of course. We talked about it and it never happened. But so we only had like a few text exchanges. But I always try to be a warm and welcoming person. So, and I think he is sort of similar. So we just kind of went with it.
Yeah, it was crazy because from my perspective, it was like you guys had known each other for years. I was like, what? How? But it was the sibling connection there was so convincing that I kept on forgetting that you guys weren't. So
that's what we need.
I know it was really good though. I enjoyed that, just seeing that dynamic on set, and Piper and I were talking about it like in between like filming, and so we were like,
we aren't actually siblings.
You guys work off each other's energy so well. I enjoy that.
Well, it's good casting.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what was the vibe like for you on set? Like, how did you feel when getting on set, meeting everyone for the first time? Because you didn't really know a lot of people, except for like the two of us. So, how was that for you?
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, it was great. I mean, I've been on a bunch of sets where, for the most part, I know nobody. I mean, after a little while, especially working in the same city, like, you do start to see some of the same repeat people, but for the most part, it's the majority new people. So just coming to a new set, it was pretty easy. I knew that everyone's try to getting into the swing of things, trying to get stuff done. So it's easy as long as you're willing to be friendly and work with people. Things can happen.
And yeah, like this, I had not, we didn't know 90% of the people on, or 75% of the people on set. Like we had only worked with Colleen and Dylan and Will and Murphy before. So those are the only people that, obviously, and Piper too, but those are the only people that we'd known on set before getting there and actually having that experience.
Yeah, you'd have no idea.
I didn't know her at all.
I would hope you know who I am.
No, I
I would really
who are you
hope.
again?
I don't know.
But
Not
it
you.
was
Just that random girl over there.
I think that everyone, well, obviously, I know everyone met a lot of new people for the first time, and I didn't know how that would work. I didn't know if the dynamic would be like a couple of people didn't get along, and I had to keep them like away from each other, and managing that, and managing the I don't know, people just didn't like each other. There was an argument on set, or there was just some sort of tension. I was worried about that, but I'm so glad it worked out as well as it did. And we had none of that, so that was nice.
Yeah, no, it's great. You got to worry about it in the future sometime, if you ever make anything new. You got to, people now have preconceived notions of who people are. That's when the real trouble starts, and you're like, oh, God.
I don't want to think about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, so I've been wondering, obviously, Michael and I wrote this thing. We created these characters. And I've been wondering, like, your process of connecting with Hadley and, like, how you decided to go about playing her.
Well, I mean, it definitely helps that I have at least fairly recently been a teenage girl. So that part I had handled.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great. But, this, I'm also from New England, and this is set in New England, so there's a certain level of, like, understanding of, like, how a lot of people from New England kind of are and, like, operate, which helped bring an element to it. And I also, myself, have twin younger brothers, both boys, and this is, like, a boy-girl twin situation in the movie, but I've been able to grow up seeing the twin dynamic, which I think helped me connect to a lot of aspects of this character.
Yeah, I had a feeling that that your brothers really played a part in that. So I was really glad that you had a point of reference, because my mom's a twin as well. So I also kind of see a little bit of that from like her and her sister. So it's kind of fun just like kind of analyzing that now that we've written a film about it. Like, oh, we got that right, or we didn't get that right. Next time we'll make it more true to life or whatever.
Right. Exactly. It was so funny. I introduced Isaiah to my little brothers, and they were like, you guys don't look like twins. And I was like, you two don't look like twins. Like, you look so different.
Yeah, it's funny, because I was like, oh my gosh. Well, because I met your brothers when I was working at French and Braun, too. Like, when they were really young.
And they were like 8.
And now that they're like teenagers and like completely different people, I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I won't lie. When they were on set, at first I had no idea who they were. And then I went over to Michael. I was like, who are these kids on our set right now? And he was like, those are Cora's brothers. I was like, what?
And then a couple other ones were from the football team that my dad coaches. So that was helpful.
I know. I was like, who are these children?
And why are they here?
They are here to help. I promise that much.
Right? Here to help.
I'll take
it. So, what was it? I know we briefly talked about it, but the other actors, like David and Jared, I keep on unintentionally thinking about calling them by their their character name. It's so
You
bad.
always call Jared Riley.
Oh,
it's
wait.
hilarious. Anytime you're referring to
I know,
Jared,
it's
you
bad.
call him Riley.
Cora, do actors get offended if I accidentally do that? Is that a bad thing?
No, I mean, I can't speak for all actors. I am not God, but I personally don't get offended if you call me by the character name versus my actor name by my actual name. Um, some actors, depending on what their process is and what the role is, can prefer it. Like some people who really like to go full method, think like Daniel Day-Lewis, like they like to be like called by the name of their character and like they live in it and they never stop being the character. So really that starts to just become like it varies from person to person and set to set. But I think generally, no, you're not gonna really offend anyone if you call them by the character name rather than their actual name. I think they know who you're talking about.
I'm glad that's the case because I did that so many times on set and I felt so bad. Because I was going through behind the scenes footage the other day. I think Will and first off, the dynamic between you and Will was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. But I think Will called you Hadley, and someone said no, her name's Cora, and he was like Hadley, Cora, whatever, same thing. I was like, Will, but.
Will's gonna get the production canceled.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he was. If there was one person to do it, it'd be Dylan or Will.
Would be Will.
I'd say. Yeah, you guys had a really fun and interesting dynamic on set. What were your thoughts on that? You and Will, especially.
I don't know. That just sort of happened. I'm not sure how nor why, but it became what it was, and it was fun. Hopefully he wasn't offended by it. We did talk about that once or twice, and but I was like, I'm not offended by this, Will. You're fine. We're good.
No, he talks about it all the time. He's like, I love that. I thought that was he thought it was hilarious. He loved it, and he had a great time. So I know that he loved it. So
good.
And it's funny because he's normally the person that like that gives and gives and gives and like just is always giving the attitude and stuff. And the fact that you just gave it right back to him was like he got out-willed.
Yep. Well, yeah.
So
I grew up with only brothers. I
loved it.
This is something I do constantly.
It's crazy. Yeah, what's California like from living in New England? I meant to ask that.
It's not as cold. It's not. I would say it's not as rainy, but like the first year that I was here was like one of the wettest years ever. It's like I brought the rain. It just rained all the time. There was like a good 3 or 4 months straight where it would rain or it would be like sunny Monday to Friday. And then like Friday evening through like Monday morning, it would just rain like all the time. So like every weekend was just torrential downpour. It was very dank.
And of course, the weekends are the only days you have off. So all the days you have off.
For the most part.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like all the days you're working, it's like, oh, it's so sunny, it's so pretty.
Boo.
And then it would just rain. I was like, this is fun.
Is the
This is
worst.
nice. Though, to be fair, coming from Maine, I'm like, it rains all the time there anyways, and people don't stop. So I was like, I'm fine. It was everyone else who was like, oh no, what do we do?
I've seen like
But
those,
yeah, I like California.
I've seen those memes like where people are like California or some other state that just never gets crazy weather like that, where it's like if it rains, everyone's freaking out and driving like crazy and doesn't know what to do.
Yep.
Here in Maine,
I mean,
I personally love driving in the snow. I love it.
Because you're insane.
So I am aware of that fact.
And you learned to drive in the snow. So.
I did. So, note to New Englanders, if you learn to drive in the snow, you'll be a lot more confident in the winter months. And then in the summer, it's so easy.
It also depends on the car you have.
True. Right now, I have a front-wheel drive Corolla, and I still love driving in the snow. I've never had
There you
an
go.
issue. So
I don't dislike driving in the snow. The only issue is I definitely have popped the bumper off my car because it's a glorified snow plow. And like, New England and they get like frost heaves like crazy. And my little Prius is just like, the bumper is just like, I would like to fall off now. You're doing what to me? No.
that's hilarious. It has a mind of its own.
Yep.
Oh,
It definitely does.
don't you miss New England?
So much. So much. I'll be back. I'll be back in like
Amazing.
4 weeks.
Oh yeah, forgot. Holidays are coming up. This year's
going
flown
back for
by.
Christmas. Long. I know. It's gone fast.
I don't get it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I know. I was thinking about that. I like a couple weeks ago got an email from my acting teacher being like, "It's the final session of the year," and I was like, "Oh shit! I only did 2 this year." I was like, "All right, fine. I'll do this one. I'll do it. I'll do it." Crap.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So,
But
Yeah, but no,
yeah, no, sorry, you were saying something, Cora.
no go. You're good. You're good.
Well, so did I miss anything important when my Wi-Fi booted me off?
No, you were just frozen, and we were wondering if you were doing the mannequin challenge. Oh, yes, that.
Amazing. I don't think I could achieve the mannequin challenge, but maybe I should try someday. But so yeah, when like we talked about you and connecting with Isaiah and then the shenanigans with Will, it is so easy to mess with Will, respectfully.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it's fun to shenan with.
But what was it like with like the other actors, like David and Jared, connecting with those guys and working with them?
Honestly, it was pretty good. I knew David a little bit because he and I had worked together. It was like 8 years ago. We did summer Shakespeare together. It was Romeo and Juliet. And it was very fun, and he was very serious. But yeah, he's a really nice person, so it was. I already knew him a little bit, so that wasn't so bad. It was a little easier to. Or it's not easier. It was just easy to connect with him. And Jared, I had really never met Jared, never really spoken to him either. But he was really easily workable. So I just try my best to be as nice as possible. Because he was also, I think he was the youngest on set. I'm not sure if there was anyone even in the crew that was younger than him. So I was especially trying to be extra nice. And it's like, we got the scenes. We can do it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, was he the youngest on set?
yeah,
I didn't
I think
actually
he's
think about
he's
that.
the youngest. Yeah.
I think he might have been.
How old is he?
Other than maybe Loki. I think Loki might have been younger.
Loki.
Loki definitely younger, but we're talking dog years. No.
Uh,
Okay, yes. Fair
But-
enough. He's a wizened old man then.
Well, you and Jared especially had I mean, we talked about you and Isaiah, but you and Jared had a really, really good connection from an external perspective, from a director's standpoint. You guys, can't really talk about it because it's spoilers, but you guys got along so well, like during the scenes too, and you actually surprised the two of us with like what you guys are doing and everything. I was like, okay, did they like discuss that? Did they like just decide to go for it? Like you guys had such a great like chemistry on set that it surprised us many times.
Yeah, well, there was a couple times, like, just before a scene would happen where we would just sort of discuss what we wanted to have happen for that scene. But it's more like because I can't speak for Jared. But the like acting class that I'm doing, there's a lot of just like trying to work on just acting as naturally as possible and just trying to connect with the other person. And if you actually do connect with them and have a good relationship with them, then it will just translate to the screen. You don't actually have to like try to act or like, put it on. It's just something that is. And I would always talk with him like before we shot anything, like what he was comfortable with, just so that it wasn't something where it was like I was like, oh hey, and he's like, oh god.
Yeah, I saw that you guys would like before a scene like go talk to each other. I was like, I assume that's what you guys were talking about and everything, but it made our lives easier to know that you guys were like having that conversation on your own too. I hadn't worked with like actors who'd done a lot of acting before, so I was like, what is the best way to communicate with the actors about what they're doing? And I especially wanted like Piper to kind of head that department while I was more on the production and the crew aspect of things. So it was a weird split. So Piper and I were kind of like talking back and forth of like, how do we communicate with the actors the best way possible while they are needing to communicate with themselves as well. So
yeah, I mean, for me, it's not something where I'm like I feel like I need to be communicated with in a certain way. I feel like as the director, you just communicate what you believe you're looking for the scene, and see what the actor does with it. And hopefully, if everyone's a good fit, then it'll go well.
Yeah, and I think
sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't go well, even when both people are being very clear.
I'm glad everything went well this time.
Or it'll be like, yes, it did. Yeah, it wasn't like hey, I want you to do this, and no, I'm not doing that. I won't. And
Piper, you and I, like, from the beginning, like, once we saw how easy all the actors were to work with, like, we were, like, fully trust them to, like, determine their everything, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we didn't feel the need to be like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, you guys, like, even through the run-throughs, you guys were, like, on it, and I loved it.
Yeah. There was not a single moment where I was like, yeah, this isn't working. Like, it was always working. One way or another, it was working.
Oh, good.
So, I want to ask, do you have a favorite moment, Cora, on set that just, like, sticks in your head that you, like, loved so much that was just, like, your favorite time or moment or just experience on set?
Oh, that's a great question. There's so many. I mean, anytime Loki was there, that's always
He makes everything
great.
better.
He makes everything better. I definitely found the scene in the basement to be a lot of fun to do. It was just silly and wild, and I was honestly more worried about making Will laugh during that scene because I didn't want the camera to shake too much. And also trying not to break out laughing when I was supposed to look shocked and horrified.
That was actually, like, our number one most worrisome scene, actually, too.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable with what's going on.
The issues of the basement scene.
But I mean, I that scene, I was, like, super stressed out filming that because I didn't want you guys to be uncomfortable or whatever with that, which I'm not going to say anything more about the scene because then we're just going to spoil everything. But I was like, once we got into it and I saw you guys were just, like, having a good time with it, I was like, okay, cool. I this is a lot better than I was, like, anxiously anticipating, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think it went well. It was that was a fun day.
Piper, what was your reaction to
Fun
that scene
shenanigans
overall?
in a basement.
My reaction to the scene overall? I feel like I'm gonna say something that I shouldn't say, so I'm worried. But,
I have editing software, don't worry.
You go the vaguest. It was a great day.
Everything went well. No, I thought as much as I was worried about how the scene would come out, it was pretty hilarious filming it. And I remember having to like put myself in the corner of the room and like not watch so I wouldn't laugh.
I remember that. That was funny.
Because I realized after like the first couple of takes, I was like, okay, I can't look at this as it's happening. I need to look in a different direction. And then just watch it back when it's over.
Yep.
I like how, I'm not gonna say too much, but I like how we incorporated into the scene that you push Jared.
Yeah,
that was funny.
That was
Yes, yeah, I thought that was fun.
The thing that.
That was the only part as I was worried about hurting him.
I mean,
but
it was only like a foot off the ground. Like, it wasn't bad, but still.
This is true.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far. You know, we're all getting older.
Yeah.
You know, one good fall,
hip.
Yeah.
taken out.
Everyone could have bad knees
Just
one
the
day, like
hip,
me.
yeah. Throw your shoulder out. Slip a disc.
Yeah.
At the ripe old age of 19, he was
Lived a good life.
lived a good life. He was a grandfather well loved.
Oh my god.
Come on, it's Maine.
So, we talked about your favorite moment. Which, Piper,
Yes.
let's revisit your favorite moment while we have you here.
I don't.
Your favorite moment with Cora on set.
Oh, with Cora? Okay. This is funny because I like when you asked that question, I thought back to when we did an episode together, and I wondered if you asked me this because I was like, I wonder what my answer was because I don't know now. Favorite moment with Cora on set? Oh my gosh.
There's so many, Cora.
There's
She's
so
trying
many.
to find the right one.
She's like, I don't even remember who this person is. Shit.
It's like, who's Cora? What? Oh no.
Do you mean Hadley?
Oh, that girl? Yeah, I guess. Oh my goodness. It's funny because I have a few that just always pop into my head. Like that one scene that's after the scene we just talked about where she's running outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because every time we ran that through, I just kept listening to your flip-flops clacking against the stairs, and I thought it was so funny.
Yep. I had a feeling it was going
I remember that. That was hilarious. And we filmed on the first day, too.
We did, yeah.
I think that was the first day. I think we found a lizard that night, too.
Yes! You and Isaiah, I think, found a lizard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. There was like a little gecko
Yeah.
situation. It was very cute.
I kind of realized we really screwed you guys over with the
Well-
first day of filming with what scenes we filmed.
Yeah,
Sorry,
God.
I screwed you guys over.
Yeah, God, Michael, you're the worst. How could
Like,
you?
literally, like, two of the
How
most
dare you?
intense scenes with you guys first day. Like, why?
Just yell and scream at each other. It's a great way to get to know one another.
Well, yeah, scene 69 was the first scene that we did all together, and
Yeah,
that was a big scene.
That was a big scene, yeah.
Yeah, and then 26 is the one you guys were talking about outside. And I felt so bad because of the bugs.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
felt so, every time I'm looking back at BTS and seeing like all the bugs, I'm like, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Oh my gosh! Remember other favorite part on set was the day I forget exactly. It was either 22 or like 25, but it was the day where we were outside. It was during the day, kind of right at dusk, and there were so many bugs that we were like, we can't even like do audio because the bugs were so crazy. And Isaiah yelled at a hawk, and
That was
they were
22,
like,
yeah.
the bugs were bothering everybody, and like a hawk was like going off in the distance, and he and I could not remember our lines to save anything. It was just pandemonium.
Yeah, that was one of the days,
But it
I
was
think I
fun.
talked about it in a previous episode, but I talked about the fact that was like one of the days where that whole day something was going wrong all day. It wasn't anyone's fault. It was just like a
Yeah.
situation based thing. So I wasn't angry at anyone in
was just,
general
like,
or
that
anything
day.
specifically that happened. It was just the day. It was so challenging. And then, I mean, the thing I feel bad
That's
saying
a
is,
weird
is
one.
Will and I are going through and figuring out scene 22 was such a crapshoot from like the time and different angles having different lighting and different shadows from the sun and everything that we're trying to figure out what we can work with it.
Yeah. So I felt like my hair just got like progressively more greasy as we like applied more layers of bug spray, and I was just like, oh god.
Yeah, it was a tough scene, but you know, that's the one, or there are two that we've had a lot of trouble with. That one and scene 17, which you aren't in. It's a Cash and Riley scene, but those are the two that have given us the most trouble.
Yeah.
But you know, it's filmmaking. It happens, and you know, we tried our best, and we'll see what we can do with it.
It does. This is very true.
Yeah. I want to say that one of my favorite moments with you, I think I have two. First one is just that first night of us reading through the script together. There's all of us having you there, and I mean, the only one that wasn't there was Jared, and Will wasn't there either. But just that night is such a good memory because and Piper and I were just like sitting right next to each other, reading through the script with each other as everyone was going, and you can just like Dylan's taking photos. You can see smiles on our faces because it's like, holy crap! Like this film is with the actual people like in front of us, and it's coming to life in front of our very eyes, and it was amazing, and it was like the first time like getting to see you like in person acting as Hadley, and it was a solid reminder for us that we made the right choices with everyone. So that was one of my favorite moments. And then there was, oh my gosh, I think it was like scene 55, one of the living room scenes where it was really stressful. But you were like making it such a great environment. Like we were all super stressed out. I know I was, and you were just like, it's in some of the behind the scenes footage. I was looking through it the other day and it reminded me of it. But you were just like bringing up the mood. You're just like talking and having a good time and talking to us. And I was like, thank you for just being fun in the moment to make me not have a mental breakdown.
It was probably one of those days where I got called in halfway through the day. So I was like, hey, how are you all doing? And you're like, we've been doing it for 8 hours. Fuck.
And
was it the day where the children were like having a party next door? So remember that one was a little bit tricky.
That was very tricky. Oh my god.
I forgot about that.
I forgot, yeah.
It was so funny because I distinctly remember like us taking a break and waiting for them to stop the music. And I was like actively listening, and they stopped the music, and I turned around and I was like, "It's over, let's go!"
Perfect.
Yep, gotta love neighborhoods. Gotta love the children.
Well, it was a great neighborhood. I grew up in that house, so it was a great neighborhood to grow up in. It's just, as an adult, when you're trying to do something that requires a lot of quiet, it's frustrating.
Yep, it becomes difficult.
But it's okay. I'm glad they were having a good time. There was also, I want to mention the fact that you and David especially were so flexible with that one day where we were going to be filming 55, but then a certain circumstance happened where we had to move stuff around like crazy last second, and the fact that you and David, I was like, hey, can we do this instead? And you and David like immediately were like, yes, of course. Like that like made that day for me because it was so stressful making sure it would work for everyone. So thank you for being so understanding and flexible and working with us with that.
Oh yeah, of course. That's part of the job.
Yeah. So we talked about your favorite moment on set. I think you know the next question. Is there a moment that sticks out to you that was your least favorite that was just like, that sucked or whatever?
I distinctly remember being mildly annoyed during filming in the middle school library, but that was only because I couldn't figure out what the Wi-Fi password was.
Yeah,
So it had nothing to do with filming itself. It was just me being annoyed.
Dang, Wi-Fi, what the heck?
Come on, why doesn't the school have free Wi-Fi?
Right? They used to have that all the time.
I know, what is this?
Yeah, that's...
To be fair, I'm not a student
It
anymore,
was tough.
So.
Yeah, we also had to like access the internet for our script and everything, so I was like, yeah. But luckily, it all worked out. But I feel you on that.
It did all work out.
When like I work for the town basically, so whenever the town has a weird Wi-Fi password for one building, I'm like, what the heck? Why don't you just have the same system for networks so you don't have to have everyone use a different password for every location you're at?
That's too easy.
Right.
It's too easy, you know? People don't like easy.
It's too easy. I was on a set yesterday, and we were talking about how the like casting that we go through that like booked this particular set is really annoying because they cast for like a bunch of things, but there's like multiple different casting directors and various other like, you know, different casting plebeians that like work under each different casting director. And for whatever reason, they do not have a centralized place where they can see when someone in the system has been booked to work on a set that day. Because you'll be on a set that you booked through this system that day, and you get like rushed calls for that day. And I'm like, can you not see that I am working today? It is all the same system. What is this?
That's insane.
Like, why
what is up with that?
do you not have one centralized thing? It's so strange.
How far we've come with technology and we can't even figure out scheduling? I don't get it.
Gotta keep.
I know, very minor scheduling too.
Gee, that's crazy.
Yeah. Right.
This is open for
So
both of you
annoying
guys.
as, you know, old New England towns.
Oh, yeah. This is open for both of you guys. This next question: is there a moment on set that kind of just like sticks out to you? Not good, not bad. Just like a little story you want to share. To be clear to our audio listeners, there are a lot of thinking faces happening right now.
Yeah, we're not buffering. We're just thinking.
I'm buffering.
Or no, definitely just totally buffering here. That's what it is. Well, I have one. There was a day. It was the final day of filming, and we were. I think there was a scene that we did have to film in a car. So it was Isaiah was driving. I was in the passenger seat. I think Jared was in the back seat. Will was with us, and Maddie was with us for sound. And I think we did the scene, and then we were still on the way to the lake to do the big thing at the end. But we decided to like. Will was like, "I'm just gonna roll. You guys do whatever," and so we did. We just kind of like improv'd, and it was just it just felt very real, and it was really fun, and it was I enjoyed it. It was great. Then we pulled up and parked and filmed the actual scenes that we were supposed to film.
I remember that. Will and I were going through footage. We
very...
loved that. We loved how you guys did that.
Yeah, it was also very fun trying to, you know, do a scene while I could at the peripheral see Will being like at the camera okay, and then it was like a corner and watch him like fly across. And he's like.
That was
he's
awesome.
Not buckled in. No, he's just holding the camera.
God.
No straps. Just like, all right, this is great.
We love him, but he's a dum-dum sometimes.
little bit of a cowboy sometimes.
Piper, what's yours?
That just reminds me of when he was hanging out the window. in the car.
The happiest I've ever
To get
seen
Oh,
that
him.
yep,
shot.
yep.
Ever seen
He
him.
literally
Like
looked like a golden retriever.
he did. The hair does help too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember Isaiah, we figured out that if we got close enough to your car, we could steal your music off your phone. Like, your phone would connect to the car. So we kept trying to get close enough to steal the music, and you guys kept speeding up.
So the reason I kept on speeding
didn't
up
know
was to
why.
give you more space to make it not look like you were so close to us. It looks like you guys were alone
Right.
on the road driving. That's why. But I didn't realize
Yeah.
the music thing until after Isaiah was like, we were jamming out to music. I'm like, what? How? I was in my car. I didn't realize it would go that close.
Yep, we were stealing your tunes.
I don't know what was playing, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
And we kept trying to give him directions too as we were going.
That's funny. What was it? Yeah, so that was fun. I remember going through the footage of that. That was hilarious. And then
Oh, good.
just going through all the behind the scenes photos and videos, like, I love it so much. I'm only on day 5 right now, but it's because I have like hours and hours of footage to go through.
You've got a lot.
Yeah, like Peter did an amazing job capturing behind the scenes. He gave me like about 3 hours of footage for each day. And I have to take that 3 hours and somehow pick and choose 10 minutes or 5 minutes to show for that one day. And it's so hard because I'm like, all of these are awesome memories. Like,
That's what the podcast should be. Just take the random audio clips and put them together.
yeah, well, a lot of them need video context. Otherwise, some of the audio just be like, what the hell is going on with these guys?
You're like, what is happening? Be like Vine at that point. You're just like, what you said? What? Why?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So,
Take some.
well, I guess by the time this comes out, we will have announced. Well, we have announced. So, the film's coming out in the summer.
Okay.
I'm very excited for that, and I'm excited for the premiere,
Yay.
and I'm excited for you to be there. So
Yes, I'll be there.
yes, and it's the fun thing is where it's premiering in like near my hometown, and I don't know how long were you living in Maine for? I don't remember.
I mean, 7 years.
All right, so it's all, yeah, so it's basically back home for you, basically. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's gonna be a big thing for the 3 of us, especially, and David.
Yes.
So,
The local folks.
yeah, we're gonna have such a good time with it. But
Yes, we are.
yeah, anything else anyone wants to bring up? Piper, do you have anything you want to bring up, or any questions that I did not think of that we want to ask Cora?
Well, you had asked if we had any general stories,
That
and
too,
I
yeah.
thought of something. It's not really a story, but just the, do you remember the water bottle test with the car? The car driving over the water
yes.
bottle
I
to
remember.
test if
I
it would
remember
drive
this.
over the drone.
Yep. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Poor Isaiah. He was so stressed.
What a time. And I was like, I know that the drone will fit under the car. I'm just like so afraid that Isaiah is so afraid that he's going to run it over.
He got the water bottle
He was
test
very nervous.
perfect, and he did the drone perfect first take.
But
Both
he
ways, both
was
times.
freaked out because when we did the water bottle test the first time, it was standing up, so it was too
Mm-hmm.
tall and it fell over. So he was like, "Oh my God, did I hit it?"
You hit it dead
was
center
like,
in the car and
yes,
absolutely perfectly.
Because it's too tall.
And the drone is a third of that
Yeah.
water bottle's height. So
Yeah.
it was fine.
So,
no,
yeah.
that was... I still kind of like give him a hard time about that. I'm like, you were your own stuntman, or our stuntman, because like...
Yep.
I don't know. He did a perfect job. Also, I wasn't going to drive the car and have the drone there at the same time, or I wasn't going to have someone else drive the car or whatever because we needed...
Yeah, one of
Other
the
stuff.
only reasons he did it is, well, obviously he was going to try to do it. But then right before we did it and he was still unsure, I literally went up to his window. I was like, hey, if you run this over, it's Michael's fault.
It's my fault for what? Putting...
I was like, if you run this over,
Your drone underneath.
it's all Michael's fault because this was his idea. So, like, if you run it over, it's not on you.
When we do an episode with him, we have to get into this too.
And he was like,
He's going to be like, no, we're not talking about it.
yeah. He was like, okay. And then he did it.
PTSD.
Oh, we wanted to talk... we didn't want to. I just remembered that...
We didn't want to, but we were going to talk about it anyways.
If you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But
Okay.
Are you okay with the stair slip and the saving of the food?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, I do recall the stair slip. I don't even remember how I did that, but I definitely ate it on that scene.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get, like, properly hurt.
I also didn't break your mother's dish, so that was also good.
Those are cheap. It was fine. I was more worried about you. But I was confused. I heard it, and I didn't process what had happened because I was looking at the monitor, and then all of a sudden I look over, I see, like, 5 people running to you and asking if you're okay. Like, what just happened?
Okay, so if we're talking...
I got too over-exuberant with the going up the stairs.
Yeah. So if we're talking about this, then I would like this to be my answer for one of my favorite Cora moments. Not because this was a fun moment. I was scared. But then it was like, I thought it was very noble how you saved the spaghetti.
I did. I saved the food.
I was like, wow.
For continuity.
I was like, wow. Yeah, I
Top
remember
tier
you
effort.
saying that too. I remember you saying that. Like, you literally got up with it. You were like, I saved it for continuity. And I was like, oh my God.
But save yourself
It
first.
did get a little low-key, but, you know, so they're a little bit of white hair, but, you know, just call it
A
Parmesan.
lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You're not safe in my parents' house with any sort of not white object or clothing.
Right, yeah.
It's inevitable.
I thought you were just going to stop there and say you're not safe at my parents' house. I was really confused about it.
I would never say
You're like, it's wildly
I was
unsafe.
like, oh God.
That'd be
We just should
terrible.
not go there.
Oh my God. No, I've never ended that sentence there. But yeah, I'm glad that you saved the food, but more importantly, yourself.
I feel like the safe thing in your parents' house is just don't touch the oven, because you never know if your mother has something in there and what she's doing with it, because she'll get you if you mess with the oven.
She will get you. She's actually, I talked to her this morning. She's making hundreds of cookies right now.
Oh
for
my
an
goodness.
event.
Well, 'tis the season.
Yeah.
The season. It's about to be peak season for cookies.
Yeah. So I had another question for Piper
Ugh.
about Cora and Hadley all at once.
Okay.
So what about, we talked about in the first episode that we did together that Hadley is a large amount of representation of you. What do you think the top thing that Cora did while acting as Hadley, like what was the top thing that she did to encapsulate you as Hadley when she was acting? Does that make sense at all? 'Cause
I
have
think
no
so.
clue what the hell I'm saying.
I think so.
I know the question I want to ask. I can't phrase it.
I think that whether she's being Cora or she's being Hadley, it's the active being of unapologetically being yourself. Like, that is something that I strive to do day in and day out. And I think that's something that I wanted to see within Hadley, and I think Cora captured that, and I thought that it was done very beautifully. Does that answer the question? I think I understood the question.
I think that answers the question perfectly. And
Nice.
it got really deep and meaningful for a hot sec there.
Well, I feel really deeply about Hadley because, like you said, when we were writing her, whether I knew it or not, I think I was putting a lot of my own qualities or like qualities I aspired to have in her. So she means a lot to me. And casting her, I thought was going to be really difficult, but I think that we found the perfect match.
You did perfect, Cora.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Always get to hear that.
Yeah. And I don't know all the crazy details about your acting history. Is this how many roles have you played recently where you've had like this huge, I don't want to say responsibility. Huge responsibility like in a feature-length film.
Honestly, not too many, especially for a feature-length film. Anything where it was more, where it was that sort of like level of responsibility, is usually more like a short. So it's really kind of like the first time I've had that opportunity to really be to showcase my talent for a feature. And it was nervous making at some points. There were definitely days where I was like, God, I did terribly. I'm like, I just did horribly. But for the most part, I think I feel like I did a good job. I'm hoping that I did a good job. I'll probably sit at the entire premiere like this. Because no one likes to watch themselves on camera.
No, we think you did an amazing job, so don't even worry about that. And every time like Will and I are on the editing calls, we have editing calls 3 times a week, 3 days a week for like 2 hours long. And we're going through like certain scenes and we'll just pause and be like, wow, our actors did an amazing job in this scene. Like we'll just like take a moment to just acknowledge that because we again, we're looking at it from a production standpoint where we're just like, okay, lighting, audio, video, like we will look at it separately. But then when we actually have that moment to take a step back and in just enjoy it as a viewer and as a storyteller, we're like, holy shit, these guys did amazing. So don't even think you didn't do a great job. We take a step back and we appreciate it like all the time. So don't worry.
Oh, thank you. That sounds great.
Is there anything else anyone wants to mention before we end the episode? And then I have something to tell you, Cora, after.
Oh, okay.
Piper, you know.
Officially off the record.
It is off the record. All right. That's it. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming to this episode, Cora and Piper. Piper, you've been on more episodes, so you are more of a common co-host, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, thank you for coming on, Cora. It was great hearing your perspective of this because, I mean, being on set, I only had my perspective and I was stressed out of my mind the entire time. So it's nice, like, kind of reflecting on it with you. So, yeah, we hope.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course. We hope to work with you again soon. And we're so excited to see you hopefully before the premiere, but if not, at the premiere. But yeah, thank you again.
Great, of course. Yes, happy to be here. Happy to help and still be involved.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Uncropped. We will see you guys soon. Thank you.